want to take a moment today to take a look at my new Glock 30S. I made a video on this the other day, but I was anything but serious, and a lot of people came away from that video a little confused on what I was saying about the gun and about the specifics of the gun. So I want to take the moment today to show you the gun, show you the difference between this and the regular Glock 30, and talk about maybe any advantages or disadvantages the new model may have. As you can see when you open it up, it looks like pretty much any other Glock comes with the same things. Even from the side, it doesn't look any different than a regular Glock 30. So what are the differences? Well, let's take a closer look at it here and I'll show you the differences. So what is the big difference with the Glock 30S and the regular Glock 30? Well, there's really only one difference. There's one difference that leads to a couple of different differences, but it all stems from one thing. That is, the slide is slimmer. The slide is thinner than the slide on the standard Glock 30. The standard Glock 30 slide, it is much wider. It's about as wide as the widest spot on the frame here. And if you look at my hand here, you can see, just looking at it like that you can see the frame sticking out on both sides of the slide. This right here, the thickest part of the gun, is the frame. The slide used to be pretty much even with that. On this one, it's slimmer. That makes some other differences too. Not only does it make a difference in the thickness of the top part of the gun, but it makes a big difference in the weight of the gun. The gun's about 3 ounces lighter, give or take. Makes the gun a little easier to carry, a little easier to wield. In fact, it makes it balance better in the hand. If you ask me, this gun feels better balanced in my hand than the regular Glock 30, and I have owned 2 of the regular Glock 30s. So I guess the S stands for slim because the slide is slimmer. It may stand for something different, but to me, that's what it seems like it stands for, because the slide is slimmer. Now, you would think that since the frame is still just as wide, that this really wouldn't have that big of a difference on the gun, just making the slide slimmer. Well, I thought that too, but I was wrong. When you get this in your hand, it really is a big difference. Like I say, it balances better, seems to carry better, it's more comfortable in your waistband, it's more comfortable even outside waistbands. It's just a more comfortable gun because it's slimmer and it's lighter. And when you're talking about a carry gun, slimmer and lighter are really big factors. Even though it is still thicker here, it's not thicker here, and it does make a difference in how the gun rests. So I have to hand it to them. They did make a big difference on this gun. Now, is this anything really super new? No, because people have been taking the slide from the Glock 36 and putting it on the frame from the Glock 30 before. So that whole story of we worked with law enforcement and blah 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 and we developed this new design, well, I don't really know if I buy all that. I think you just basically saw what people were doing on a forum, saw they liked it, and decided to capitalize on it. Now, what are some negatives of the gun? Well, I really can't find any. I can't think of one way that they've hurt the gun by making it a little lighter, a little slimmer. Now, some people will say, well, it's going to recoil more. Well, that's true. I guess there would be a little bit more perceived recoil. I don't notice much of a difference. Maybe I'm remembering differently, but to me, it feels just like shooting my old Glock 30, and it's still got the same 11 rounds the Glock 30 did, but like I say, it's lighter and slimmer. So I really can't say that recoil is a big difference. It probably jumps a little more, but does it jump enough that it's going to make a difference in a self-defense situation, or that you can't make up the difference just by buying a different ammo at the range? I don't think it does. So as far as negatives go, I really can't assign a definite negative to it. So I will say the gun seems to have a lot of advantages. It carries easier, it feels more balanced in the hand, it's more comfortable to me. It's just, an overall better carry gun, I think, because it's slimmer and lighter. As far as the disadvantages go, like I've said, I don't think it shoots out much harder even though it's lighter, so I really can't call that a severe disadvantage. But I want to address one advantage a lot of people have been saying it has, and that's that it fits in any holster for a 9 or 40 Glock. Well, that's true and it's not true, and I want to show you here what I'm talking about. If you look at this holster right here, if you have a holster like this, well, yeah, this will fit it. It will fit right in here. This holster's for my Glock 23. This fits it perfectly. The new Glock 30S fits in this holster amazingly well. Like I say, this is actually made for my Glock 23. As you can see, here it is with my Glock 23. Fits it just right. Fits the Glock 30 just right. But if you have a holster like this one over here, this one here is made for my Glock 23 also. Fits right in there. Perfect fit. Fits exceptionally well. Really like this holster a lot. This is my Forest City tactical holster. But if you try to put this Glock in it, it does not fit. It will not go in there. So the idea that this will fit into any 9 or 40 holster is not true, and I'll show you here why it's not true. Okay, I don't know how well you can see here, but the guns are very similar in length. I mean, there's not much difference in the length. Wouldn't think the length would cause much of a difference. The 23 is more square at the end, and the 30S is more tapered, but overall, they're about the same length. Well, that difference in shape does make a difference if you have a closed bottom holster, but it's not just the shape at the bottom either. It's also where this part of the frame, the wide part of the frame, happens. If you notice on the Glock 30S, it's a little further back from the tip of the barrel. If you put this up, if you put these side by side where the tips of the barrels are together, the frame gets fat further back on the Glock 30. So there are some differences. There's the differences in the shape of the front right here, and there's differences where the fat part of the frame starts. And that makes a big difference if the holster is, like I've showed in this holster here, if it is a closed bottom holster, it will not fit it properly if it is molded completely to a Glock 23. So that part is partly true. If you have open bottom holsters, you can use this gun in any holster that this gun will fit in, but if it's a closed bottom molded holster, that's not the case. So in the end, I just have to say this is a very desirable gun. I would have to give it high marks for a Glock. It's just, like I say, it's easier to carry. You still have that high capacity of 45 caliber rounds, and you can't argue that 45 ACP is a very proven and time-tested self-defense round, a very capable round. So, you know, having 11 rounds of that on you is never a bad thing. So just overall, really good gun. Really happy with it. I was wrong about my initial assessment of the gun, because I just went mathematically and logically and said, well, how can it be any different if it's just one aspect of it that's wider and it's still wider at its widest point? It's still the same width as its widest point. But I was wrong. This is one of those times where math can't tell you the whole story. You actually have to hold the gun. So if you haven't checked one of these out and you're really looking for a concealed carry and you really like 45 and you like Glock also, or even if you don't like Glock or you're on the fence about Glock, check it out. It's worth checking out. It might not be the gun for you, but you might find out that it is. So, you know, it never hurts to check. So my recommendation on this gun, I'm not going to tell anyone to buy it because, you know, that's up to you. But if you're looking for a concealed carry gun, and like I say, you like 45, you like higher capacity, you like semi-autos, whether you like Glock or not, you really should check the gun out because you never know.